A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us and welcome to an English edition of news from Dalsan TV with me, Yusuf Karani. A lot is lined up for you, but first, let's have a look at our top stories making the headlines in Somalia and around the world. Djibouti's President Ismail Omar addresses Thursday joint Somali parliamentary session. Somalia federal and state leaders agree to bolster security universal elections. And Somalia, come to the broadcast. Somalia's federal state leaders and the head of states have agreed to bolster security across the country and plan for national universal elections by the end of the term of the current president. The leaders who were in Mogadishu for a national consultative forum called for by President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud signed a 5-point communique except the leader of the Somalia's autonomous state of Puntland.
The federal government and federal member states have made progress in the ongoing consultative forum aimed at streamlining better service delivery. The National Consultative Council (NCC) meeting concluded its summit in Mogadishu, with federal and regional leaders agreeing on a 5-point communique that focuses on security and elections. The NCC agreed to a political agreement on delineating powers at the federal and regional levels. However, the Puntland leader Saeed Abdullahi Deni refused to sign the final communique of the summit, which was called by President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. This could be a new political turmoil and an increased difference between Garowe and Mogadishu. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud visited the state upon his re-election to weed out differences with the autonomous state. The council has applauded the security forces' continued offensive against Al-Shabaab. The federal and regional leaders also suggested that the offensive would soon extend to Southwest State and Jubaland. The NCC resolved to form a technical committee to complete the 2017 National Security Architecture, which clarified the size and distribution of security forces and the command of control structures within and between them. The leaders agreed that the committee will be formed by January 10, 2023, and would make recommendations and present a comprehensive report. In a statement, the leaders also agreed to appoint a committee to prepare recommendations for delivering universal elections in Somalia. Somalia once again this year held indirect elections. The original plan was to hold universal suffrage for the first time in 50 years, but this fell through as security, legal and financial realities kicked in ahead of elections. Somalia needed a constitution to give a legal framework for constituencies and voting. Officials fell back on indirect elections where elected legislators in the upper and lower houses sit jointly to elect a president by secret ballot. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud is optimistic to hold universal one-man, one-vote elections in the country by the next election. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud is optimistic to hold universal one-man, one-vote elections in the country by the next election.
For the first time in as many years, a bicameral house of the Somalia parliament on Thursday was addressed by a foreign head of state. President Ismail Omar Gelle of Djibouti, who is in the country for an official 2-day state visit, addressed the House of the People and the Upper House, commending Somalia's state-building progress.
Parliament on Thursday held a special joint sitting for an address by Djiboutian President Ismail Omar Gelle. President Omar arrived in the country on Wednesday afternoon and was scheduled to hold bilateral talks with his host, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, at Villa Somalia in Mogadishu. Speakers of the bicameral house, Sheikh Adam Dobe and his Senate counterpart, Abdi Hashi, chaired the special session held on Thursday afternoon in the National Assembly chambers. President Gelle is in the country for a 2-day official visit. Mr. Ismail is hoping to renew the all-important alliance with Mogadishu, which came under strain during the tenure of President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, who lost the presidential elections in May to Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. Officials said parliament will use the meeting to bolster the two nations' ties after strained relations last year. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who has visited Djibouti more than once after his re-election, invited Ismail Omar Guelleh for an official working visit. In his address to the House, President Omar Guelleh said Somalia has made strides and progress after the protracted civil war.
waddankuna maanta maalinuu idinka baahidu yahay ma jiro haddii aad u shaqaadataan oo inagu dhaqaaqdaan dadku ina eeganaya iftiin baad u tihiin idinka ayaa.
The head of the state commended ongoing effort aimed at degrading the militant group Al-Shabaab, which still controls part of the country. He pledged to support Somali security forces and allied local militia in the quest to get control of areas in the hands of the militants. President Ismail Omar Guelleh becomes the first head of state to address a joint session of the bicameral Somali parliament in many years. During his visit, President Ismail will also meet with the business community from both countries. The country is one of the troop contributing countries to the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, helping combat militants toppling the government. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud said Djibouti is an ally of Somalia, commending long-serving leader Omar Guelleh for steering efforts to unite Somalia. Following the civil war in Somalia, the country has been supporting Mogadishu's protracted struggle to regain central authority. The talks in Arte, Djibouti laid the foundations for the current setting of the Federal Republic of Somalia.
Police officers within the Somali Police Force have concluded a training on human rights and other skills that will facilitate their operations. This is a part of efforts to build the capacity of the Somali security forces as they prepare to take full responsibility for the country's security. 25 officers of the Somali Police Force have concluded a 10-day training of trainers course on human rights to equip them with the requisite knowledge and skills to respect and protect the rights of citizens. Facilitated by the police component of the ATMIS, the training, which was attended by police officers drawn from various departments, was organized with the support of the Somalia Federal Ministry of Internal Security, UNDP, and the SPF. During the training, the participants were taken through a number of modules, including Introduction to Human Rights, International Human Rights, Islam and Use of Force and Police Professional Standards, among others. In line with the ATMIS police mandate of supporting the service delivery of the Somali Police Force, the training seeks to build a competent pool of trainers, which will in turn train 300 regional officers in Hirshabelle State to entrench the rule of law and ensure peace and stability in the region. Assistant Commissioner of Police Kabaso highlighted the timeliness of the training, coming at a time when ATMIS is preparing to hand over full security responsibilities to the Somali security forces.
And supporting the SPF is one of the strategies of ATMIS to achieve the objectives in line with the mandate and the CONOPS of assisting the Somali security forces. That is to provide security for the political process at all levels, stabilization efforts, reconciliation, and peace building towards creating a secure and safe environment. The ATMIS police, in collaboration with other partners, considered implementing this program in order to build the capacity of the relevant agencies in readiness for the said upcoming training.
In his remarks, the Director General in the Federal Ministry of Internal Security, Yusuf Ali Mohammed, said the training on human rights is in line with the capacity building mandate of the ministry. The ministry has also begun preparations to deploy the trainers to Hirshabelle State, where they will conduct human rights training for the regional forces.
xuquuqda bini'aadanka dadka ay la shaqeynayaan ama ay la joogaan ama u tegi doonaan inay si ay u gutaan waajibaadkooda saxda ah.
The Director of Training and Planning at the General Kahia Police Academy, Brigadier Hassan Alasso, lauded ATMIS for the continued support towards capacity building of the Somali Police Force. The participants noted that the training will improve the execution of their duties as they embark on training the regional forces in an effort to enhance the observance of human rights in Somalia.
waxayna fuliyeen tababaro muhiim oo ciidanka booliiska uga soo qayb galay akademiyadan booliiska.
The Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources of the Federal Republic of Somalia strongly condemned General Energy's exploration activities in parts of the country. In a statement, the ministry warned of the potential risks to its investments and legal ramification on carrying out illegal exploration in the breakaway region of Somaliland.
Well, we've been working in Somaliland for nearly 10 years now. And
Somalia has rejected what is called an illegal claim by General Energy to oil exploration and exploitation rights in the country's northern breakaway region of Somaliland. Somaliland claimed independence from Somalia in 1991 and has been largely peaceful while the rest of the country has grappled with 3 decades of civil war, but its leadership has failed to gain widespread international recognition. In a statement, Somalia's oil ministry said it categorically rejects General Energy PLC's claim to own petroleum rights in Somalia's northern region and calls upon General Energy PLC to cease its illegal claim to own petroleum rights. The oil ministry said it was the only institution legally authorized to grant permits in Somalia. Any authorization granted in violation of Somalia's law and regulation is unlawful and will be considered null and void, the oil ministry said. General Energy and Somaliland officials did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The company, which is listed on the London Stock Exchange, added Somaliland to its exploration portfolio in 2012 and signed a farm-out agreement with OPIC Somaliland Corporation for a block on the Ethiopian border last year, according to its website. Earlier this month, Genel said its geotechnical survey in Somaliland was complete. Hydrocarbon discoveries in Uganda and Kenya and huge gas find in Mozambique and Tanzania have struck investors' interest in other parts of East African hydrocarbon potential. In October, Somalia signed a petroleum exploration agreement for 7 offshore blocks with United States-based Coastline Exploration.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on all countries to place peace at the center of all their words and actions. The UN chief said the impact on civilians meant that over 100 million people found themselves fleeing violence, wildfires, droughts, poverty, and hunger.
Every new year is a moment of rebirth. We sweep out the ashes of the old year and prepare for a brighter day. In 2022, millions of people around the world literally swept out ashes. From Ukraine to Afghanistan, to the Democratic Republic of the Congo and beyond, people left the ruins of their homes and lives in search of something better. Around the world, 100 million people were on the move, fleeing wars, wildfires, droughts, poverty, and hunger. In 2023, we need peace now more than ever. Peace with one another through dialogue to end conflict. Peace with nature and our climate to build a more sustainable world. Peace in the home so women and girls can live in dignity and safety. Peace on the streets and in our communities with the full protection of all human rights. Peace in our places of worship with respect for each other's beliefs. And peace online, free from hate speech and abuse. In 2023, let's put peace at the heart of our words and actions. Together, let's make 2023 a year when peace is restored to our lives, our homes, and our world.
And with that story, we come to the end of this broadcast, an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, Somalia's premier bilingual television news network. My name is Yusuf Karani. Till we meet again